Hey, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about an amazing software that came across my radar recently called RipX, and it's by the company Hit and Mix. This is an amazing software for musicians of all type and all skill level. For example, if you're a DJ, you're going to love the software. If you're a songwriter, producer, creator, you're going to like the software. But also most definitely, if you're a pianist, you're going to like the software. This software is also helpful for non-pianists, drummers, bassists, guitarists, you name it. So if you're looking for a software that can allow you to create karaoke track from any song, take any MP3 song, instantly turn it into a karaoke track, this software is going to be helpful for you. If you're looking for something to help you transcribe songs faster, because as pianists, we know when you're transcribing songs, you got to listen to all the instrumentations, you got to listen to the bass and all of that. RipX can take an MP3 song and separate it back into multi-track for you. Amazing stuff. And if you're looking for a software that can convert audio into MIDI, this is the software. Particularly, converting audio to MIDI is something I've been looking for well over a decade now, and this software can do all of that. So, we're going to jump into it. I'm going to do a demo, show you what it can do. This software can do so many things. So what I'm going to show you today is just going to be scratching the surface as to all the features loaded in this software. So stay tuned. We're going to jump into that. All right, guys, welcome back. This is the software right here. It's called RipX. And let's just quickly jump over to their website, show you some stuff. So RipX actually comes with multiple modules or different types of modules. And you got Deep Remix, you got Deep Create, and you got Deep Audio. And each of these software does different things, right? It allows you to do different types of like audio replacements and audio cleanup. You can even record directly into RipX, and then you can manipulate the sound just beyond words. So many things. And like I said, different modules. So you can head over here, check it out, and see which one would be most appropriate for what you're looking for. Let's jump to the software itself now, and I'm just going to walk you through some of the processes. So first, when you open up the software, you're going to see different settings. And one of the cool things I like is when you hover over anything, you have this interactive help down here that tells you what it does. So like right here, I click on that and it says just drag and drop one or more audio files here to add them to RipX. So super easy to learn. Way easier than working with a DAW, right? And then over here, you have different settings like pitch, time, levels, sounds, loop, and these are different presets and features you can use to manipulate the audio or MIDI file that you're working with, and you have additional tools up here. You also have inputs. So right now it's showing me all my connected inputs that I currently have, right? So it means I can use any of these to record directly into RipX. Some cool things also, if you click on the help and you go manual, it pulls up this manual right here. And so you can literally just take your time and research whatever you're looking for. But look at the size of this manual. As I tell you, this software can do a lot of things, right? But it's very helpful to familiarize yourself with the software. Now, I have some few sample audio files here, and I'm going to demonstrate a few things for you. I'm going to just drag and drop this one in here. El Shaddai, something I did for my tutorials. Now, once you drag and drop the file, it's going to bring up this dialog box that's asking you a few questions, right? So what type of recording is it? Is it single instrument or is it multi-instrument, right? So it's a multi-instrument for me, and it automatically selects that. So that's cool. And then it also tells you the voices that you can use to separate. It says, for quick results, only select what you need. Because the more you select, the longer the process, the processing it takes to separate those. So I just keep everything selected, right? I usually just go with the presets, and then you can save stems for your DAW later. And then it also tell you the approximate rip time. So it's going to take 2 minutes to load all of this into RipX, turn it back into a multi-track. I'm also just working with a pretty short audio file as well. So if I just pull this up right here at QuickTime, you can see we're talking about 17 seconds of a file. So if you're trying to do a full 3 minute, the estimated time for ripping is going to be longer. But that's fine because there's a lot of processing going on right here. This is actually an AI at work, right? I'm going to click on rip now. And then I'm not going to have you guys sit here and wait with me for the 2 minutes, so I'm going to skip ahead. All right, so once your track has been ripped into RipX, this is what it's going to look like. And each color represents an instrument. So you can see up here, El Shaddai. And then down here shows you the different layers color code. So the voice is in yellow. If I click on the voice, it just shows me the vocal track. The piano is in red. It's showing up. It's showing a guitar as well. Is there a guitar? Well, there is no guitar in the track, but it still has a guitar track load there. It has the bass. I can see kick drum and then percussion. So you usually take if there's a full drum kit, it will separate like kick drum, and then it will put like hi-hat and snares into more percussions. It even has a strings. I have strings in the track, and you can see it highlight the strings in green. So if I go back to the master track, it shows me everything. Let's take a listen.
El Shaddai, El Shaddai, El Elyon, Adonai. Age to age is still the same by the power of your name.
Right? So that's the snippet I exported. Pretty cool. Now let's listen to the individual tracks, the stems, and see how they sound. Let's just take the vocal line first. And I'm over here, once you hover over vocal, you can see M for mute, S for solo, right? So I'm going to click solo, and you see it just isolates, get rid of all the other tracks, shows me the vocal track. So
El Shaddai, El Shaddai, El Elyon, Adonai. Age to age is still the same by the power of your name.
Real cool. Now, once you have this, say, for example, this vocal line isolated, you can start to manipulate this thing. If you want, you can come and you can click on individual notes, right? And you can move them around. That's cool. You can also come up here and you can set scale. So if I want, you can snap to a key and the scale. I usually like to do any form of note cleaning up manually, because when you sometimes snap stuff to scale, it gives you more work than you're looking for. But that's a cool feature you can check out. What I also like is you can clean up this. So for example, what if you just wanted to rip this vocal line? You can clean it up because I can hear
El Shaddai, El Shaddai.
I can hear additional sounds, and you can see the ones that are light yellow are sometimes not audible, or they're probably not even vocal line. It might be just any form of movement that was picked up in the recording. RipX also outlines that here. So if I click this, like that's not an audio, so you see it's blinking. I just click delete and it's gone. Delete, gone. I think these were like breaths. So if you draw a box around all of them, highlighting, I could just delete those. Then let's hear the audio track.
El Shaddai, El Shaddai, El Elyon, Adonai.
Right, so again, if I want to delete these breath marks here, and then just go back here.
Yano Adonai, age to age is still.
So like all of these here, these actually sounds like strings. I believe they come from the string. So in that case, If you find that there, because sometimes when the same instrument occupies the same register, similar register, sometimes it can pull notes from that instrument and add it to another instrument when you're soloing the different stems. And so to clean that up, I'm just going to draw a box around all of these notes because they're strings, and I'm going to add them to the strings stems. So the way you do that, you come over here and you see down here the strings. See where you see this little green arrow? I'm going to click on that, and it means those notes now have been taken from the vocal track and added to the strings track. So it's really cool, really cool.
Age to age is still.
Here's another one. Definitely know that's the strings. So you just click on it, go to strings, click the arrow, boom, it's gone. Like all these are strings. Real cool. So that's how you can clean up your vocal line. There are so many more things you can do in cleaning up this. Like, for example, if you want to clean up certain frequencies right across, you can come up here and you go to this view right here. So it's the edit on pitch tools. Click and drag a set of on pitch sounds and edit. Anyway, if I go on this view, it sort of gives me the entire frequency spectrum of the song. Right? And so then if I want, I can draw a box around certain frequencies, and then I could just click delete, like, everything above 120 or 12K hertz. I can just delete that.
El Shaddai, El Shaddai.
And likewise, if I want to say delete everything below 62 hertz, I just draw a box around that and just click delete. So it cleans up. It's like, it's almost like EQ filtering.
El Shaddai.
And then these are other tools you can dive into. You can change vibrato, all of that cool stuff. When you come over here, so the pitch, so if I come here, you can quantize, you can flatten, you can add vibrato, you can invert pitch, you can slides, you could do so many crazy things. Like, check out this harmony. What if I want to say, what if I want to turn that note right there? What if I want to harmonize that note? I can come down here to harmony, and I'm going to say I want to add a third above it. And you see now it harmonizes that. So when I'm playing,
age to age is still the same.
I'm just going to undo that. So you see how I could easily do that? What if I want to turn this entire thing right here into
age to age?
Come down to chord, and I say I'm gonna do some crazy chords with this.
Age to age is still the same. By the power of your name.
It gets weird, but I can see this is where like producers and people who do a lot of sampling and like to manipulate audio. You can spend hours in just this bank having fun. You can do additional cleanup. So like repair under the voice, you can, get rid of overtones, you can fundamental levels, you can get rid of hums and tones, you can limit foreground sounds, you can filter background sounds. So like I said, you can really mess around with this and get your audio sounding exactly the way you want it. One of the other cool feature we talk about is replacing sounds. So what if I want to replace this entire vocal track? I'm going to select everything. What if I want to replace that with a different instrument? So if I come down here to, let me see, I believe it's under, here we go, sound selected. So what if I want to replace that as a guitar line? And I want an acoustic guitar. I'm just going to go, let's press play so you hear how it's changing in real time. So again, this is something producers can use. What if I want just a blend between vocal and guitar? You can go, let's bring it down to like, say, 50%, right?
El Shaddai, El Shaddai, El Elyon, El Adonai. Age to age is still the same.
So cool. And then boom, and I get rid of
El
that.
Shaddai.
So you see, over here, you can do all sorts of insane manipulation with the individual track. Let's check out some other additional tracks. So I'm going to unselect that. I'm going to unmute, or let's check out the bass. Because we talk about transcription and bass, you want to be able to hear the bass line. So you see, I click on bass and look at that. So I'm going to solo it so you hear the bass. So if you're trying to learn a bass line, whether you're a bassist or a pianist, but you can't really, it's hard for you to hear all of that when you're listening to the multi-track, RipX allow you to just isolate the bass. And then you can export the bass as an audio file, as a Midi track, and then even learn it even further. Let's take a look at the piano, because, you know, piano is my thing. So I'm going to come up here. Like, check this out. What if I want to hear the bass and the piano at the same time? So boom, I just click solo on both. And now, let's go back here. Right? What if I just want to just hear the piano? There we go. I just unmute the bass and then I have piano. And remember we talked about, right now I can hear a little bit of strings that's blended into the piano, and we talk about how you can easily get rid of that. So I can tell that most of the higher notes or the higher things I'm seeing here, all of those are strings, right? So if I'm just going to zoom in a little here, and I'm going to highlight everything above here, and I'm just going to add it to the strings. See? And once I highlight all the notes, it plays it for you. So I can hear those are strings coming in and out. So I'm going to come down to strings and move those notes over to the strings. So cool. Now I have even a little EP in the background. I can hear some of it bleeding in here. So if you want, you can go granular and you can just remove what you need, what you don't want, and all of that cool stuff. Remember, we talked about you can turn this into a karaoke track. Again, so you just go back to master, we get everything, and just mute the vocal. So come down here and click mute. And now we have karaoke track. Now, another thing you also can do, you can EQ individual instruments. So for example, if I come down to the bass and you click this little arrow right here, see, drop down a little 3-band EQ. You can go, you have a stereo track that you can control, like the panning. You have the audio, the low, the mids, and the highs. So what if I wanted to boost the bass a little bit so I can hear it, you know? I can say, I'm going to boost the low end. And check this out. So you can boost any instrument or any frequency range within an instrument to make it louder, just, you know, for learning purposes if you can't hear that instrument. So this is cool. Now, one of the things I like about it, let's go back to the master view. Once you have it separated into stems now, you can export all of these as a stem, right? So if you come here to File, go to Export, and you see bring up this dialog box, and you can say You want files to create a single file or separate stems, separate layers. So you just click on any of these, your title, you save wherever you want your stems to go, and you can save the file format. So if you want each of these stems to be exported as MIDI files, you can do that. If you want MP3 or, WAV, whatever you want, you can export. So it's really cool. You can what to export, sections or a loop. So you can loop sections and then export just that as a loop. Very cool. I'm going to X out of that. So that's what you can do. I want to show you one more thing before we wrap up this video. I'm going to import another track, a piano track, and show you how you can convert it to MIDI and then how you can use that in additional ways. So let me import that track. I'm going to delete this one, El Shaddai, and I'm going to import another one from here. So let's take this jazz piano track right here. It's just the piano, and I'm going to import that. So then just drag and drop. And I'm just going to say it. Well, I'm gonna leave this as default. I'm not gonna change anything, and I'm gonna say rip. And this is gonna take another 2 minutes, so I'm gonna skip ahead. See you on the other side. All right, so now we got this little jazz piano track here loaded. Let's take a listen to it. So you get the idea, right? And we don't really need any of these other parts. Like the voice, I could just right click, delete. There is no guitar. And while I'm scrolling, I'm making sure that it didn't separate any notes into a guitar bank. Right, so if I just click solo, it's not going to, well, here's one note. So I'm going to isolate that and add it to the piano because it's supposed to just be piano. And then I can delete this guitar bank. I'm going to come over to the bass. I'm going to solo the bass and again just do a quick visual scroll to ensure no notes was added as a bass. Good, it didn't. So then I can let me unsolo it first and just delete this, just cleaning it up. Percussion, did it add anything as percussion? No, because we didn't have any, right? And then I'm just going to delete that. So now we just got our piano track, right? Now, as you look at this, if you start to isolate certain notes like these, you can hear that these aren't audible sound, right? They're almost like phasey kind of sound. Remember, we talk about you can clean up your audio track by simply just highlighting them and deleting them, right? So anything that's generally light in color, especially when you're working with a single track, you can tell these aren't really audio. So like I said, RipX is picking up everything in that audio track and it's presenting it in notation form or note form. And some of these notes aren't really audible, right? So the problem with this is then when we export it as a MIDI, these notes also turn into MIDI notes. And then when you're playing it using a MIDI player, you're going to start hearing sounds that you didn't hear in the audio before, in the actual piano part. And that's because what it's picking up are these almost like ghost notes, right? All of these. So you could just go boom and delete them. Boom, delete. You can also come over here and play around with the repair. So, you can filter certain background sound based on dB. When you're converting an audio to MIDI, filtering doesn't really work because by simply turning down the inaudible sound doesn't get rid of it when it's converted to MIDI, right? And so the best way to do stuff like that is to like go here to overtones and probably try to just, get rid of those like 30 dB. Or you come over here to the spectrum view where you get to see the entire frequency spectrum and you can cut out certain things here, So like everything above like 30 hertz or 3 kilohertz, you could probably cut out because those aren't going to be anything you want to be converted to MIDI, right? So all of these also overtones that exist up here, you could cut that stuff out. Just clean it out. I didn't get these, so I'm just gonna clean those out as well. So there's a lot of little overtones here and stuff. You can decide how granular you want to get with the cleanup process, right? It's like this. See, like that we don't need. These we don't need. So once you see any of those tones, I can see some stuff here. I'm just gonna delete that. I'm showing you guys just how you can clean it up, right? Like what's this right here? Those aren't anything audible. And you're gonna see a lot of these so it really picks up a lot of stuff, which is good and bad. It's good in the sense that that you're not missing any tones. Bad in the sense that when you want to do like a MIDI conversion, then you have all these other notes that becomes more audible in the MIDI format and can sort of distort what you're hearing. And I'm going to show you what I mean in a bit. So check this out. Sounds cool, right? So now I'm going to come up here to File, and I'm going to go to Export. And I'm going to call it Jazz Piano MIDI. And then I'm going to have it saved to my desktop. Down here, when you come on the file format, they give you 2 MIDI options. They say MIDI, and then they say MIDI note. I've tried both, and I find that the MIDI notes format tends to be more accurate in terms of the sound. So I'm going to keep it on that, and I'm just going to select a single file, and then we're going to click Export. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring up Midiculous, which is the Midi Player, and I'm going to try to find that file on my desktop real quick, the Jazz Piano MIDI, and I'm just going to drag it into Midiculous, and you can see all the MIDI notes right there. Let's press play. Pretty accurate, right? I'm familiar with this little piano piece, and it's playing and showing all the right chords. So amazing tool. Now you can hear the rhythm kind of sound a little bit wonky because, like I said, this thing it's not that precise when we're doing all of these conversion. And so sometimes one of the things you can do if you're familiar with working with MIDI in a DAW, like Pro Tools, Logic, or any other DAW, you can then import this MIDI file, and then you can even clean it up further. So this is it, guys. This is just me scratching the surface as to what RipX can do. There's so much more. This is a very powerful software. And like I said, people who does DJ, this is awesome for them. If you're writing your own song, composing your own song, if you're a producer, if you do a lot of sampling, this can definitely help you to take your creative process to the next level. But for musicians such as myself, the way that I think I'll be using this more useful is, one, to be able to quickly turn any track into a karaoke track, right? So if I wanted to get rid of the vocal, I can do that. But then also to practice. So as you can see, you can load a track and then mute the piano part, and then you can practice your piano part to it. That's huge for practice purposes. And the ability to quickly transcribe complex songs. If you're trying to transcribe a complex song, you're not sure of the chord, RipX can definitely set you on the right path, because it's going to give you all the notes you need. And then all you got to do is make sure you weed through the stuff that are like inaudible sounds. And it shows you, I show you how you can replace sounds, or you can move a sound that was, the AI put as piano. You can move it to wherever it needs to be with just the click of a button. So this is it, guys. RipX by Hit and Mix. They got different modules: Deep Create, Deep Audio, Deep Remix. Check them out. There's a link in the description. And let me know what you think of this software and this video. All right. Until then, keep listening, keep singing, keep practicing, and I'll catch you soon. Bye for now.